guy came in, he had like 8 bench warrants, all kind of different traffic stuff. To clear it out, the bench warrants, the fines, and the court costs was going to be like $7,000.
Ooh.
All right?
Big deal.
Under the amnesty program, $600.
So basically,
Now that's life-changing.
life-changing,
Yes.
Like, because that poor fella getting $7,000 was going to be like if I could get $1 million tomorrow. It just wasn't going to happen.
Yeah.
But $600, he was like, oh, wait a minute, I can do. We've even had them where their employer has called and said, it's only that, I'll pay it. Because they need the workers so bad and they trust them. And look, and it's not that they're arch criminals. We're talking about minor traffic, minor drug offenses, minor things. And a lot of times, it's from 7-8 years ago. This person has cleaned their act up. Heck, they teach in Sunday school. They've got their act together. But they got this one thing from the past that they got to clear up so that they can
The Haitian Kings! The Haitian Kings! The Haitian Kings! This the Haitian Kings Podcast!
I thank you, everybody, for tuning in for another episode of the Haitian King Podcast. The guest we have today is somebody that's been here in season 1 a couple times. And in season 2, we wanted to have him. But what we come to talk about today is something that that's the first time I heard about it. And when he told me, I wanted him to come to the show so we can explain. And I think it's about to happen in March, but I'll let him explain. But before we even start, I wanted to thank him so much for, like, very good friend of the show, always show us love, and I wanted to give him his flowers. So without further ado, Judge Ron Richard.
Thank you so much for having me. So wonderful to be back. And once again, thank y'all for giving us that city court the opportunity to help to get the good word out about the program that we're putting in place shortly.
All right, so let's go ahead and start to slowly introduce us to the program y'all got coming up.
Perfect. Okay, so here's what we got. And we've done this once before. In fact, when I took office back in 21, you know, you become the new judge and you're trying to figure out, how do I make it better? How do I help the public? Because at city court, we like to say, you know, we don't govern people, we serve them. And not just serve them with lawsuits, you know what I'm saying? we try to serve them and help them get whatever problem exists in their life, get it behind them and get on down the road. And so this is what we call our Fresh Start Amnesty Program. And this is Lake Charles City Court, the Lake Charles City Marshal, Marshal Nathan Keller, the Sulphur City Marshal, which is Brandon Dever. He's involved in this. You and the same thing over in the Sulphur area. The district attorney here, Stephen Dwight, is also involved. And it's this simple. I'm going to give you all the simplest example. If perhaps you have a bad night, you get pulled over and you didn't use your blinker and headlights out and maybe you were speeding and you end up with 3 or 4 charges. And that's just traffic. We're not even talking about, marijuana or drugs or battery or anything like that. We're talking about something as simple as traffic. And, the cop writes you up, gives you the ticket, and you put it in your glove box thinking you're going to remember to take care of it. And next thing you know, you miss your court date. And then you miss your court date and you're like, oh man, now I got a warrant out for me. Or you completely forget about it and don't realize there's a bench warrant out for your arrest. Because 2 things for sure happen when you miss court. 1, a bench warrant gets issued. So if you're come in contact with law enforcement somehow, they're going to say there's a warrant that they need to take you in. The other thing is your driver's license gets suspended. And so these 2 bad things have happened that you've either forgotten about or you realize you missed, and then you're just hoping like heck that it's going to go away. All right?
Yeah.
Well, I'm here to tell y'all, it doesn't go away. And so when I took office, we had about 25,000 outstanding bench warrants for people who had missed court dates. And so we did this program back in 21 or 22, and we were able to clear out 10,000 of those bench warrants. by allowing people to come in, and we'll talk more about the specifics of it in a minute, but allowing people to come in and get this stuff straight, get their situation cleared up, and be able to get on with life without fear. And we, after a few years, we figure it's time to do it again. We don't want to do it every year where you can just go get in trouble and ignore it for a year and game the system. But every few years, we want to see if we can help people clear out the issue and give them a second chance at a fresh start.
Yeah, but like if someone is watching right now and has been scared to go to court, so what would you tell them in plain English?
Plain English, here's the big deal. Don't worry about getting arrested when you come up there to clear things out. All right? That's one of the big things. This program will be put in place the weekend of March 16th. So the week of March 16th through the 20th, 21st, whatever that week is, we're going to have extended hours at city court. We're going to be open later. The marshal's going to be open later. And you can come into the courthouse and say, hey, I've got these warrants, and I need to clear them up, and I need to get a new court date, or I need to see if I can resolve them today. And the biggest thing people are afraid to go do that is they think they're going to get put in handcuffs that day. No one will be arrested when they show up to try to clear these up. And that is a guarantee straight from me and Judge Bice at Lake Charles City Court.
Let's go back a little bit because, like, from people like me that didn't know, so what is amnesty? Like, what is that?
So think about it in terms of you've done something wrong, all right? And nobody's arguing that you did or didn't do something wrong. You were speeding or you caught a charge doing this or that. And amnesty is a lot like the good Lord giving you forgiveness.
Okay.
All right? When you get to the golden gates up there, the pearly gates up there in heaven, what are you hoping for? You're hoping for some amnesty.
Yeah.
You're hoping for some forgiveness. You're hoping that everything you did in the past isn't still being held against you. And that's what amnesty is. We give you a fresh start, a clean start. We take away, all right, the bad things that are sitting there on your record. We throw them into the sea of forgetfulness, as the Bible says, and we let you start again. Amnesty is giving you forgiveness and letting you start again.
But just to clarify, it depends on what the warrant is for, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Now, like if you've ever been in my court, there's a couple of things man, you got to be trying so hard to go to jail in our court, it's not funny, because we're trying to give everybody, get them back on track and get them back to doing right and getting on with their life. But we have certain things. DWIs. I'm not real friendly on the DWI. I don't want you drinking and driving, okay? Synthetic marijuana. I'm not real friendly on synthetic marijuana. It is so dangerous. It literally disconnects the neural pathways in your brain. And a couple of years ago, we had a week where you had all these people that got a bad batch of synthetic marijuana, and we're at all the ERs were full, and people were taking off their clothes and rolling around on the ground. Synthetic marijuana. So it's DWI, synthetic marijuana, battery cases. Those are things that, once again, if you got warrants for them, you get to come into the courthouse with no fear of being arrested. Okay? And what we will do is recall the warrant, set them aside, and then set you a new court date so you can come back, because those have to be handled case by case. We can't just put a blanket program into those, because with DWIs, you sometimes have victims and things of that nature. So those things, we are going to set you a court date, and you can't just wipe it out, at the clerk's desk. But once again, suddenly those warrants aren't out for you anymore, and you don't have to worry about being arrested. And we won't arrest you on those charges either, not that date.
So now who is this program is really designed to help? All
right. So let me describe, if you don't mind, the point of the program in its essence in one word.
Okay.
All right. Employability. What we want is this program is for everyone in order to make them more employable. All right. And Judge Bice and Marshall Keller and Marshall Dever, we preach this. It's this simple. Everywhere you go to apply for a job now, you got to do a background check. All right? A lot of jobs, if you're going to move up in position, a background check. If you work at a company and they want to put you in behind the wheel of one of their vehicles, it's going to be a promotion and stuff, another background check. if you have these warrants, they're going to show up on that background check, and you're not going to get that job, or you're not going to get that promotion, or because of the warrants, their insurance company won't carry you. So you can't operate their vehicles, their forklift, their truck, their whatever. So this is literally for every single person out there who wants to do better in life and is willing to clean up something from their past so that they will be more employable. And hey, doesn't that help us all?
Yes, for
People
sure.
with good jobs tend to take care of their children better,
Yep.
tend to be better citizens, pay taxes. So, government
Better for the
gets some.
economy. Yep.
And so it's just good all around. And the whole point is employability.
So what kind of warrant qualify for the amnesty?
But say that again.
What kind of warrant
What kind of
qualify for
warrant qualify for the amnesty?
Anything to do with traffic,
Okay.
anything to do with a lot of the minor stuff, as long as it's not a battery, a DWI, or it's in there, and you can still get some amnesty out of those. But it's just we have to take them case by case, and we got to make sure we consider everything on.
It's just like somebody that got a ticket, they didn't pay for it, and then they didn't go to court, got a warrant,
Yes.
and then they realize, man, I don't even want to go over there no more because they're gonna get arrested.
And they're going to arrest me. Yeah.
yeah.
So let me give you a really good example. And we're letting people come in now because they're seeing the social media, they're seeing it on the news, they're going to see it on this podcast. And they start calling, hey, can I come now? Because that week my job's going to have me somewhere else. So we're letting them come in now. And I'll give you a good example. Guy came in last Monday before, and he had like 8 bench warrants, all kind of different traffic stuff. To clear it out, the bench warrants, the fines, and the court costs was going to be like $7,000.
ooh,
All
that's
right.
a big bill.
But under the amnesty program, $600.
So
Now
basically,
that's life changing.
life changing.
yes.
Like, because that poor fella getting $7,000 was going to be like if I could get $1 billion tomorrow. It just wasn't going to happen.
Yeah.
But $600, he was like, oh, wait a minute, I can do. We've even had them where their employer has called and said, it's only that, I'll pay it. Because they need the workers so bad and they trust them. And look, and it's not that they're arch criminals. We're talking about minor traffic, minor drug offenses, minor things. And a lot of time, it's from 7-8 years ago. This person has cleaned their act up. Heck, they teach in Sunday school. They've got their act together. But they got this one thing from the past that they got to clear up so that they can do better in life.
Okay, so let's say I have an old warrant. What's the first thing I should do?
First thing you should do, literally, if you want to, you can just drive up to the courthouse.
Okay.
And you can just go in and say, hey, I'm here. I got some old warrants. Who do I talk to? And they're going to be like, you go right to that lady right over there. You go talk to that window over there. Okay? You can also call.
Okay.
You can call city court. Now, we encourage everybody to go in because you can get it done right then. And calling, please do. Our staff is very good, but we're getting so many phone calls.
Yeah, I can't keep
It's a
up.
little much to keep up with.
So do people need lawyers to go to participate?
No. And look, I'm a judge. I encourage everybody. You need a lawyer, you need a lawyer. But this right here, you don't need a lawyer. Don't incur that expense. Walk in there, get that warrant recalled. And to tell you the truth, what that guy would have spent on a lawyer, on that $7,000, another $3,000 for a lawyer. I mean, it was just impossible for him to get out of that hole if we didn't offer this program.
So basically, they should be getting leniency in all front, financially and also in the sentencing.
Exactly.
There you go.
It completely changes the amount of penalty that you're going to face.
So when somebody go up there, what they should bring, what they should bring with them?
ID, I'm assuming.
Always bring your ID because you got to prove it's you that's handling the matter. And look, we want everybody to walk in with a wad of cash so they can handle their business right then and there. And by the way, we take MasterCard, Visa. We're working on our system so that we can take Apple Pay and everything else because so many people in court ask me after I sentence them, I'll say, do you have your payment all today? Because if you pay something, I'll give you some time to pay the rest in court. And they'll ask, well, do you take Cash App? Do you take Apple? And no courts are set up for that. Well, right now, our court administrator is working on making that happen too. So it's mostly like a business. If you go in, you can pay cash, check, money order, whatever it is.
Well, yeah, I mean, so let's say for this guy, he was $7,000, and then he only be $600. But
Right.
is there is like, so let's say when we say somebody come up there, that they need to have cash, but do you have to have a minimum amount of money that you should have that? Because I'm not saying because this one was 7,000, this will
Right.
be 600. But do you have a minimum money somebody have to have when you go up there?
We'll consider it separately, but realize, and they don't necessarily have to have the money right that minute. A lot of people come and find out, and they
Okay.
go, all right, I'll be back. Because
Okay.
now I know what I need to do. And once again, they're not being arrested. So they get to walk out and go see what their checking account's going to look like in the next week and when their paycheck is. You see what I'm, and that
Yeah.
most people, they won't go get to that stage because they're so scared they're going to get put in handcuffs.
So I know that. So the amnesty program, is it there for a month? What's it the length process on
It's
that?
that week,
Okay.
but what we've allowed is we let them come in now. Because, I mean, people are calling, they're going, hey, I know I can go up there this week. I'm not working or I got a day off or whatever. And we tell them, bring it on in. Come on. We want to make it as easy as we can for people to get back on track.
So basically, starting on now, and if people want, they can just pop
They
on there. and
Just
handle
roll
it.
in.
So so going up there, let's say, how long the process will usually take?
Oh, it sort of depends on how much
long?
history you got. You know what I mean? Charges. Depends on how many people are standing in there. You know.
Okay.
But truth is, I mean, heck, as long as there's not a long line, you're in and out of there in 20, 30 minutes.
Okay.
Easy peasy.
I feel the need to ask that. What's the dress code should be?
Well, all right. We covered this one time before. Look, when you're coming to court in the courtroom, goodness gracious, dress like you're going to work or church or something. Spiffy it up just a little bit. You don't need to have expensive clothes on or a fancy suit. But goodness gracious, if you want respect, you have to give respect.
Yeah.
And just like a church is the house of the Lord, the courthouse is the house of the people. We judges are human. And if you come in there, dressed like, you hate to say it, but I've had people come in, I had a guy come in with a Tupac shirt on and Tupac was flipping the bird. And I'm like, that's not the shirt you wear to court, and then the deputy's got to put him out, make him turn his shirt inside out. We've had a lady the other day, the deputies had to make her leave, go home. She was showing all of her business in the courtroom. And we're like, no, ma'am, we're not, this isn't the club. This isn't the beach.
Yeah.
You cover it up. But when you come up to see the clerk's office on the amnesty program, we don't have a dress code for that. You ain't coming into the courtroom. We don't have to worry about the protocol and all that. So don't worry. Don't fret yourself about that. And once again, I want to make clear, even in the courtroom, I got a lot of guys come in their Nomex, their work clothes. We're not hating on anybody for that.
Yeah.
Heck, if anything, you're getting points from us because we see that you're working and you're serious about moving forward in life. So we don't worry about, but for the amnesty program, you're just in the hallway with the clerk's office. Just get in there and take care of your business.
So what would happen if somebody actually he would love to be in an amnesty program, but he doesn't really have the money to pay for anything?
If they come in and they just don't have the money, what we're working with is community service. Okay. And we do that in court. I do that all the time. I'll get a young man who's 18 years old. He didn't have any money. And he's never going to come up with the $475 for fine and court cost or whatever it is that day. And instead, I say, what am I going to do? I'm going to put you on 5-hour days of community service. I make them coordinate it with the marshal's office. And what the marshal does is they talk to different charities, churches, places who need a helping hand. A kid was in my court Friday who grew up with my son, and the marshal put him to washing windows at the Civic Center. He was out there with the squeegee on them big windows, but he didn't have $500. And I'm sure I'm as heck not going to put him in jail for that. Amnesty, we blend that in there too.
Okay.
So people who straight up, their situation means they can't pay, we will work with them on community service. Now they're going to have to do it. Okay. And a lot of people are like, man, I'd just rather pay than get stuck, washing the windows at City Hall or something.
Hey, you still watching, right? So that means you're enjoying it. So follow, like, share, subscribe.
All right, let's get back to the show. So what is the biggest misconception people believe about the amnesty program?
the biggest issue is they see it and they think it applies to every courthouse, from Lafayette to Houston. No. Please understand, this is Lake Charles City Court.
Okay.
Like, so your charges there, that's what we can have. If you got some stuff over at district court, if you got something in federal court, those are things you're going to have to handle with those jurisdictions.
I'm sure there's a certain warrant is that certain individual shows up.
Wait, say that again?
Like there's certain warrants if that certain individual shows up, like somebody that's been wanted by the FBI or something.
Right.
They don't qualify on that. I'm just wanting to clarify.
They don't qualify.
Okay.
And look, we had a guy Friday, the same thing. He's in our court on some very minor issue, and the deputy steps over and hands me something from the prosecutor, and it's like a warrant from a whole nother jurisdiction. And so they take him into custody. It didn't have anything to do with us. But on amnesty days, we're not doing that either.
So that's a good, because that's kind of like, because you just said you're not arresting nobody. But let's say I'm coming over there and I'm seeing this guy in the handcuff that got arrested for something else. Now I'm like, I think they're tripping.
We're not running. We're not trying to put anybody in cuffs. We don't have staff designated for that. And the marshal doesn't. We literally want you to understand. Now, look, if you just murdered 25 people and you on CNN with a big, where they looking for you, and you come walking in the building and the marshal realizes it's you're getting arrested, okay? But I don't think we're going to have a bunch of mass murderers coming in and take advantage of issues in Lake Charles City Court, all right?
But from the previous amnesty you said you guys had, like, what changed? Did you guys notice any change within the city after that amnesty program?
I tell you what we did. We were able to clear up about 10,000 warrants, which means, once again, it's about employability, okay? And think of it this way for changes. Think of it this way. We've got about 20,000 jobs coming into Southwest Louisiana due to all the LNG projects, casino expansions, all these sort of things that are going on over the next year or so, all right? Man, take advantage of those jobs, people. This has changed like Lake Charles hasn't seen in a minute. So go out there, get your stuff cleared up so you can be part of this positive change that's coming to Lake Charles.
So I'm guessing if anybody missed that window, they probably would have to wait for a couple of years or a little bit.
Yes, they very well. We don't know when we're going to do it again. And we kind of watch the how many warrants accumulate over a couple years.
Okay.
Do they build back up, or people taking advantage of getting to court or not? And look, you really don't have a reason to miss court because, one, you got the summons when they gave you the ticket, all right? And also, if you gave your right phone number, we send text messages telling people, yeah, you got court next week. Make sure you don't forget. And even with all that, people still let it get away from them.
But okay, so right now, the program truly don't start till March. But
Right.
like right now, you let people come in, right?
Right.
Well, let's say, for instance, the March deadline passed, and then but since you had it before the program, so like, I just realized that. Is that give people those second chances that just like, man, George, I missed that. Is there anything you can do to help in that sense?
Sadly, I'm going to take the position of we're giving everybody notice right now.
Yeah.
They've already getting a second chance because we're giving amnesty. Folks, you got to take care of it within the time period that we've allocated. And so after that, you're kind of on your own. You're risking it after that.
I think we covered pretty
Much everything. Because that's what we're asking. Basically, every question there is to ask. So in case everybody's watching this, so they can, at least we covered them. I mean, almost everything.
Do you feel like we missed anything in the amnesty thing?
I think y'all have covered it all, and I hope y'all let me talk about some of the
yeah. That's what I'm
at
saying.
city
now,
court that we're doing.
Yeah.
And so remember, city court, just so y'all know, Ward 3 / Lake Charles City Court, the geographical boundary of that is basically Highway 397 on the east all the way to the Westlake Bridge.
Yeah.
All right, 210 Bridge, the water. The Moss Bluff to Calcasieu River Bridge go all the way down to the Cameron Parish line. So it's geographically half of the parish.
Okay.
100,000 plus citizens. Most everybody that lives in the parish is doing business within here. All right, so that's where we are. We handle misdemeanors, which means any criminal offense that occurs within that geographical area that the fine is not more than $1,000 and the jail sentence can't be more than 6 months. That's a misdemeanor. All right, so we it's everything from drug offenses, batteries, disturbing the peace, speed, DWI, whatever it is, those sort of things come to our court. Civilly, we handle lawsuits, anything that's $50,000 up to $50,000, exclusive of penalties, court cost, interest, things like that. And I'll give you an example. Say like with all the hurricane cases, you had a case might be worth 50 grand, but there was bad faith found on the insurance company. So suddenly that case might be worth 200 grand, okay, with all the stuff that goes into it. So think of $50,000, but there's exceptions to it. And so that's what city court does. The other thing we did, and this is the thing I want to thank y'all for letting me have this extra bit about, is we handle the evictions, all right? So all of the evictions that occur within that geographical area are handled by the Ward 3 Lake Charles City Court. So that's me and Judge Bice handle them, and then Marshall Keller is handling the service of all those. And so I'll give you an example. Let's just say you're renting a trailer in Lake Charles at a trailer park, and you haven't paid your rent for a couple months. Well, they're going to evict you. They're going to give you a notice to vacate, and then they're going to the marshal's going to serve you, and you're going to have to come to court to fight the eviction, all right? And that happens in Lake Charles City Court. And there's so much that goes on with that one, the property managers and the landlords don't understand, so they might file these things incorrectly, which means even though they haven't been paid rent for 3 months, we can't grant the eviction. All right? And then at the same time, for tenants, you have tenants who have rights that shouldn't be evicted, but they either don't show up in court because they just put their head in the sand, kind of like with bench warrants, or they show up without having any of the information or the proof or the evidence that they should have brought so that we could have a fair hearing. All right? And so what we've done is we've done this a couple times. We're going to keep doing it. Is we have what we call the landlord-tenant workshops. So every so often, we'll just set aside an afternoon at city court, and we just invite the whole town, come, and we're going to walk through the law and the procedure and the process for evictions. And we do that. We spend an hour or two, and we answer questions, and we go through it, and we just try to make it so that people understand the process. The way I run my court, if you've ever been in my court, and I know lawyers get a little, eye-rolly with me sometimes because I'm taking a little longer, but what I do is remember, about 80% of the people that come to Lake Charles City Court don't have a lawyer, all right? They can't afford the lawyer. So I think it's incumbent upon me as a judge in that situation to explain the process to everyone who comes in front of me. And that might mean instead of it taking 5 minutes, it takes 10 minutes with someone. And I know people who are ready to get on with it. They sitting in the back, rolling their eyes and huffing and puffing. But y'all, take a second. We want everyone to get due process. I want you to understand that the landlord did this, and the deadline was this, and the time period for you to do your response was that. And I want them to understand that even when you leave the courtroom after I've had to rule against you, because if the facts in the law are against you, even though I don't like it, and I tell people sometimes, I don't want to rule this way. I don't like it, but I'm stuck. The facts in the law require that I do it. But I want them, when they walk out of the courtroom, I want them to go, you know what? I'm not happy with this, but I get it. I understand why Judge Bice, why Judge Richard did it this way. And we go out of our way to try to do that. And so the landlord-tenant workshops are part of that process so that when people go through it, they get why the ruling happened. It's not always going to go your way, okay? Sometimes I tell them you could be the worst enemy or the best friend. You're getting a ruling that the facts in the law dictate. In fact, my very first trial was two lawyers fighting over a fee. And one of them was a guy I've known a long time, was a good buddy of mine for years. And the other guy was a guy I knew, but I didn't know him well. And we had the trial. And the guy that I'd known for a long time, he wanted lunch. He wanted a tour. I gave him a tour of the courthouse, introduced him to everybody. And we ate some lunch. And then we went back to the trial. And then I ruled against him. I love the guy. He's a great guy. But the law and the facts weren't in his favor.
Y'all still friends?
And we still friends. He told me later. He said I was wrong, and that's what it is. I knew you'd be fair. And so that's what we do at City Court. We try to be fair, and we try to make it so that everyone leaves with an understanding of why things happened the way they did. That's important. Once again, I'll say it on this note. We're not there at City Court to govern you. We're there to serve you. And if we can achieve that, then we've done what people have elected us to do.
Yeah, but I mean, so the last time you was here, like, you had some great stories, and it's been a minute. So you're not anything like cool to tell us that happened. Man, that's
I tell you, and we made a joke about it last time about trying to get people to dress appropriately. And I don't mean dress fancy, but y'all should come to court one day and just watch the people we have to tell, you got to go home and put some clothes on. I mean, it's sad, but it's also hilarious that people think they can come in the courtroom dressed like all their business should be seen by everybody. I don't know if they think that's going to get them a good ruling or something, but it's not. We've had that. We've had some really. I did have a time where you get people do things that you can't believe they do to try to disrupt the courtroom. And they truly believe that if they act up enough, if they cussing and loud and all this other stuff, you're somehow going to see it their way. It is the most bizarre thing that I've seen as being a judge is that people act up in a courtroom and you just got to think they never had any home training. And it never ceases to amaze me. At least once a month, we deal with someone who really thinks if they throw a tantrum, if they throw a fit, we're going to suddenly be like, oh, calm down, it's going to be okay, and then we're going to give them what they want. That is not how it works.
But I think it would be. I think like fairly it would be the other way around, right?
Yeah,
Oh, it's completely other. The more you act up, the more likely we're not going to want to help you.
Yeah.
And we've had some bizarre stuff. It is amazing. We've had where sons and fathers sue each other over defamation. Because one of them will go spread lies, and you're sitting there going, your family, you shouldn't be in a courtroom about this. You should be, y'all should be working this out. Go talk to the preacher, talk to the priest, sit down with the good Lord, try to go to a counselor, something. But they don't. It's amazing, I've seen a number of those. We've had cases where family is evicting other family members from a home. They give somebody a free place to stay, okay? Can't get them to take out the trash, can't get them to help pay a light bill, and then they have to evict them. And remember, if you let someone stay at your house and you let them become a resident, then they're like a tenant, and you can't just throw them out. You have to evict them.
So how long they have to be living for you to be able to just
become a resident?
I mean, once it's kind of become a custom in there, usually it's kind of like a month or so where they live in there. You've let them become a resident. And then you have to serve them with a notice to vacate, wait the 5-10 days, whatever it is. Then they still live in there. Think about we had one where a lady, bless her heart, this lady, she loved this old boy. She loved him. I mean, the way we used to say at LaGrange in high school, loved his dirty drawers. You know what I mean? Yeah. He could do no wrong. And then it all went south. And he was getting her money and all kind of other stuff. And so she wanted him out. So she calls the police and they say, ma'am, he's been living here 6 months. Like, he a resident. And the police are like, you got to get a court to do this. We just can't do it. And so she has to have a deputy marshal, go give him a notice to vacate. And then she had to wait 10 days for the time period to run so she could file the eviction suit. He wouldn't leave. So she had to go stay at her mama's house. And he would sit there, and she got the security cameras in the house, and he'd drink beer and wave at the security camera. You can't make this stuff up. You think a man's supposed to be a man. You out, you leave, you get out of there.
Yeah.
But that's the kind of stuff we see, and it's just like, my God in heaven.
That's driving the world.
I mean,
like the kids did. That's rage baiting, man. It was rage.
And then sort of one of the other things we have that can be humorous, but it's sad, is the people with mental health issues when they come in the courtroom, and people, put him in jail, and you're like, man, there's something wrong with this fella. There's something wrong with this lady. And you do a little bit of exploring, and there's, they're schizophrenic, they're bipolar, they have a variety of issues. And the thing that's heartbreaking, both with those sort of people and, you get a single mom in there who has a special needs child who the dad has decided he just can't handle that no more, so he runs off, and so the rent hadn't been paid. Those are the sort of things that just break your heart, and it's why I got this job. I want to try to right those situations as much as I can, and I wish the good Lord would make me a billionaire so I could just fix everybody in Lake Charles' problems. You know,
Just open the mail from one resource.
I'm not going to do like Trump and promise that all these checks that I see have never shown up. But truly, it breaks your heart and it makes you wish, man, I wish I had this big pot of money that I could just help this person, help that person get medical assistance, help them get mental health care. And we have some great resources in Lake Charles, but there's only so much money to go around. And those are the things that at city court you see. They're on like a ground level. Like you see people's visceral problem. When I took the bench, the administrator of the court asked him, man, why is our security so tight at city court? I mean, it's amazing how tight security is. And he told me, he said, well, local city court, municipal court judges are attacked physically more than any other judges are. And I was like, man, why is that? Well, now that I've been there 5.5 years, I understand because you're evicting people. You're having to make them pay fines and take out of their pocket, you know, what little bit of money they have. And it's visceral. It's more immediate. It's more ground level. And I'll tell you, as you know, I've had a couple of instances where you're in the grocery store and you know,
You really to
I'm 5'4", 170 pounds. I'm not a big old boy, you know. And when you evicted somebody that's 6'2", 220, and they see you, boy, they wanted to fight. Or you have to put somebody in jail because they keep getting DWIs and their family, you know, wants you to let them out. And I'm like, no, he's got to say. And then you run into their family at the pizza place, which has happened before, and they want to fight. They upset. And you know, in the pizza place, I don't have these armed deputies who are protecting my little short behind. It's me. Now you gotta remember. I remind everybody, it's me and something in my pocket. Don't think you might whoop me, but it's gonna be some difficult stuff going down. You know, and most people are respectful, but that is the part, and I guess I kind of want to sort of end on that note that I ask people, be a little more considerate of your politicians, your judges, people who are elected to serve. They give up a lot. They give up time from their family. They give up. They make enemies when they're not even trying to, when they're just doing what the law and the facts require of them. I had some stuff over at the police jury I was handling this week, and those guys over there were so helpful. And then I had to go to City Hall and talk to them about a zoning deal, and they were so helpful. Please, everyone, every judge I know, every elected official I know and their staff, they really are trying as hard as they can to help the public. And sometimes it just doesn't work out. But it's not because we just are being evil or mean or not trying to do stuff for you. And I get a lot of thank you, Judge. I appreciate you. And you get that later when you run into the mom or the dad and you let their kid wash a window instead of, put them in jail or pay that big fine. But I still hear so much of, politicians are just wrong and corrupt and bad and everything. That's not generally the case. It's like everything else. Out of 100 plumbers, you're probably going to have a couple of plumbers that aren't good guys, and they might gouge you on the price. And I come from a plumbing family, so I can talk about plumbers, okay? I'm not picking on plumbers. It's just one thing I happen to know. And it's going to be the same way with politicians. Out of every 100, you're going to have 5 that are no good. But by and large, for the most part, we're trying so hard to do the right thing, and we that y'all please give us that consideration.
So I need to ask you this, because the last time when you was here, there was a different administration. There was now we got a new mayor. Mm-hmm. So what is your opinion on the new administration?
I'll put it to you this way. If you just take the amnesty program, okay? We met with the mayor just last week and had him to a luncheon that we had with a bunch of pastors in town trying to get the word out about this. And I can tell you, the new administration, just that one example, Look, I'm sure they're going to make mistakes. We all do. But that's one example of how the mayor and the city administration was like, thank y'all for doing this. How can we help y'all get the word out about this? And that's what you want from your city government. You want them to help put the word out about good things and to work with other officials. A lot of times in politics, remember, one politician, even though this politician has a great idea, he don't want to help him because it might be giving up some of his turf somehow.
Yeah.
We don't have that with the current administration. I haven't ran into that at all.
We had him on the show, and I like all the things he was saying. So, and he got 4 years.
And give him some time.
Yeah,
Look,
you know.
and I've known him for many years. Very smart gentleman. I'm sure he's just like me in the sense that he's gonna not do everything the way everybody likes. But it just goes back to what I said a while ago. We elect people. Let's give them a chance. Let's give them a chance. And look, they're going to have city council members the same way. I hear people talking bad about a city council member. That guy's trying his best to do the best for his district. Please give him a chance. Now look, if at the end of a term they're not acting right,
Yeah, go ahead, Alexa.
well, we know what you do. You unelect them. Okay, that's what you do.
And I know you're about to get, you're about to go on election right now too, right?
Yep.
And nobody should be running against Judge Ron Wishart, huh?
Well-
is it going to be unopposed?
I have no clue.
It shouldn't be nobody, right?
I hope I've done such a good job that that's what happens. But our great Constitution provides for this process that if anybody thinks that they can do a better job, our Constitution lets them put their hat in the ring. And I always welcome all comers.
You can see that too, like, come try me.
Well, thank y'all so much for letting me be here. And hopefully everyone gets the word on amnesty, this program, Fresh Start. Please take advantage of it. It is your chance to clean it up and have a better chance at, better employment, a better life for you and your family.
Well,
Yeah, thank you so much for coming to the show. This is your platform as is our platform, so you come in here and anytime.
I think
you
at
want.
this point, man, you like a co-host, like the third co-host. I think you've been here
Your family, man.
like full time.
Yeah, you
So
family.
yes,
you family.
Ron, once again,
Thank you so much. Y'all are doing a service to this community, and I
thank you,
appreciate
really
it.
appreciate it.
Perfect.
And
Thank you.
as per usual, follow, like, share, and subscribe, and feel free to leave your opinion in the comments. As always. Till the next one.
Thank you. Peace out.